Hello class, today I'm going to be explaining my picture book that I created myself called Roxy the Rain Cloud, as well as explaining how I broke down this book and put it into this. So first things first, as you can read from this is not appropriate for elementary education at all. I would not do that. I would not honestly bring this book up unless I was in a senior level, college level class. The reason I chose this one though is it is my favorite chapter book and it brings in a lot of really good morals that I want to implement not only on myself but in my classroom. So the book I made from this is called Roxy the Rainbow. It's about a rain cloud who was birthed by two suns. Everyone around her is a sun. She gets bullied for being a sun, which makes her not understand herself or her differences, because everyone's a sun. So when she rains, they make fun of her, and she never understands that. Well, one day she has a bad storm, and her parents become worried. But they explain to her how beautiful she is because she's a rain cloud. And her differences don't make her weird or anything like that. But instead, they actually make her super special. And that's the reason they love her most. It's saying without her rain, they would have no flowers, no rainbows. And this helps Roxy understand herself and her differences. Not only does it do that, but because of Roxy understanding that, she goes back to her bully, and explains, hey, I'm sorry I was different. Please, I forgive you for being mean. I want us to understand that my differences don't make me any less. It's who makes me me. And if you can understand that, then we could be friends kind of idea. And at the end of the story, her bully explains to her that he was jealous of her differences all along. And they end up both accepting their differences and growing into better people because of that. And that's the summary of Roxy the Rain Cloud. I'll go ahead and put a link on my next slide to pictures of the book so you can read that on your own. The reason I would love to put this in my classroom is I think it's really hard accepting who you are and that your differences. There's a lot of pressure to be the same as everybody else, and that often makes you lose yourself. So by showing kids at a young age that being yourself is what makes you you, your differences are what make you special, that is really important. And that's what this book did for me. And like I said, not appropriate for elementary education. And I honestly, if you want to find a book that's published for that, I would recommend Judy B. Jones' The Flower Girl. I almost did that one just because but it didn't fully fit in with this. That's why I didn't include that. But it does talk about how, Judy B. Jones couldn't accept not being the flower girl. So it didn't touch on the differences as much as I would like with this one. And this is, like I said, my favorite. It's helped me through a lot. So that's all for my book. Now, if you would like to read it, like I had mentioned before, on the next slide, we'll have a Google Doc for you to be able to read this.